goes a little something like.
Hello Literates, I'm Britt Ryderly and welcome back to Writer's Ambitions. For those of you who've been hanging in since episode 1, you're the real one. And for those of you who are just finding my humble channel, welcome. We hope you stay a while. So, I am going to do something I have not been doing today. I am going to start a writing vlog. So, I know people on AuthorTube do writing vlogs. I don't really care, not to be mean, but I don't really care what other people on AuthorTube do if I don't actually want to do it. But I realized that the reason that I wasn't doing it because I didn't want to end up documenting my failure if my writing goals didn't work out or if something that I put out in the world came back empty. But I believe in my writing, and I believe that God has really great plans for me through the gift of writing that he's given me. So I'm not going to bank on failure. So I'm going to start a writing vlog. It's not going to be like intense. It's just going to be really 1 month check-ins on writing goals that I have put out into, not into the universe, that I have put forward for myself. And I'm going to do all of that while making some peach tea. That was a very strange way to pick up a knife. You're okay. Anyway, so I'm going to be making some peach tea. As y'all know, I'm not super great at narrating, but you see what I'm doing. There's a peach here. Cut it up. Okay, so like I said, part of what was behind me not having a writing vlog before was fear. I don't like to fail. I'm a control freak, but I think that the consequence of that was me not talking about it. It turned into me not doing much either, or not being aware of when I should be celebrating because I have done something that I had been procrastinating on doing. And so this will help me to just be aware of myself as well as to share this journey with you all. Okay, so I'm just going to share my my goal recitations for October. It's September when I'm recording this, but you're not going to see it until maybe even the third week of October. But be aware that by the time I say this to y'all, or by the time y'all see this, I'll have already been working on these things. Obviously, cut around the core. I'm not a baker, so don't make fun of the way that I'm cutting this peach if it's incorrect. It's getting cut. That's what we care about. It doesn't have to be pretty because you're going to mash it up in the pot. You want to have 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of water in a pot. You're going to put the peaches in there. Then you're going to boil it, crushing the peaches up occasionally to get the most juice out of it. So that's what's going to happen in the next however long that you're watching this video. Okay, so these are just going to be a mix of goals and reflections. So here we go. The first goal I have is to look at JL's site resources. She's an author. She has a website. I've been thinking about getting a website. Now is not the time for me. I have too much going on as it is, but I also just don't know what I would put on there because I haven't published anything. So I'm just like, I'll look into that more later. But she has a site. It's really, really cute. And she has some resources like how to write a Twitter pitch in 280 characters and make it good and that sort of thing. So I just need to go on her site regularly and look at what new resources she's updating it with. To keep myself motivated to continue to edit my query package material that I have not looked at in about a month at this point. So I need to go back and look at it, but I don't know what else I could do. So I need to be looking at resources that tell me other things that I could be doing. So I will be looking at her site more regularly, getting some tips for those revisions. Those are my first 3 goals. Look at JL's site for resources, look at my query letter and synopsis again, and find resources to revise them. I did apply to Avengers of Color And that was organized by Farida. Oh my gosh, I've never heard her name said out loud. I've just seen her on Twitter. And I think her Twitter is like at Farida Frankenstein or something like that right now. But I'll like put her name somewhere in this region. But she is also an author. Her book is called Ace of Spades, I believe. So I'm going to put this on the stove because we're boiling it. All right, so that's going to take, you know, a little minute. So anyway, so the next thing on my list was more of a reflection / encouragement, which is to not give up on trying to find writing community with other Black writers specifically. And the reflection part is I had to really be honest with myself about how much I really want a community. Like that is something that I think is going to be really important to my journey to becoming published, is having community with writers who are published, who are on the road to publishing like I am, just finding community. And it's difficult to find a virtual community, like, because it's sort of abstract, it's just out there. So I wanted to be honest with myself about how much I wanted it so that I would put more energy behind it rather than just like trying a few things or trying to reach out to a few people, and if it didn't work out or if they didn't respond or whatever, not being like, oh, well, that's fine. Like, it's not really like I do care. So also to that end, like Avengers of Color, yes, they're looking at query packages, that's what it is, but it's also a mentorship program for authors of color. And so applying to that was a big step. I hope that it goes well. Who knows? I don't remember when the application was. I think it was sometime early September, late August. And I'm recording this in September. So September 26th, I haven't heard anything back yet. But I don't know how many applications they get. They could still be looking at materials for all I know. So, you know, hopefully by the November honesty conversation, we have good news, but whatever. So I applied to that. I'm also going to be applying to more like Twitter, not at a lot, because I've heard that like some of them are not legit, but like definitely Death Pit, definitely Pitch Wars. Apply to those because what do I have to lose? Like if I don't get an offer, excuse me, my book is still going to be finished and I'll still be unpublished. Like there's nothing's going to change. My last goal is to start drafting chapter 2 of my dissertation. So this does not have anything to do with my creative writing. It's just like I'm in grad school in my 4th year of a Black Studies program. And you know, you gotta start writing. I've been reading for the past month or so, and it's depressing. That's what it is. I'm in sort of a slump. I was supposed to be reading, because this is the honesty vlog, right? Okay. I was supposed to be in a reading phase for the entirety of the summer. Guess who didn't read a single solitary thing at all? Like I read some fiction books, but not the literary fiction that I was supposed to be reading at all. So I need to get back on track. And I know that I haven't been reading one because like my prospectus defense was a very like elongated process, and it was more difficult than I thought it was going to be. It took a lot of energy and I was just very drained after the process, so I just needed a break. So I took like a month off. I thought that was going to be enough. It was not enough, and I ended up taking the entire summer off, even though I was supposed to be reading. So I just allowed myself to do that because there was a lot of stuff happening in the summer. COVID was picking up. We were all starting to realize that COVID was not going to be some like flu season thing that just happened and went away. And, you know, the usual state-sanctioned murder of Black people. So I didn't really feel like reading about Black women being sexually abused in the home, which is not what those books were about, but that's what was in a lot of the books. I was reading Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl by Harriet Jacobs. I was reading The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I just finished reading Push by Sapphire, and now I'm about to start on For Colored Girls Who Consider Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough, a choreo poem by Ntozake Shange. Those are not happy stories. Now, there are moments of victory in those stories, and that's great, but that doesn't take away that there's also real trauma there, that there is sexual assault, that there is domestic, physical abuse, there's verbal abuse, psychological abuse. Like, it doesn't take away the pain of just seeing Black women in abject trauma all the time. And knowing that these books written in like, well, Incidents Life of Slavery was written in 1861, or published in 1861 rather. These other books that were written in like 70s, 80s, even 90s, one of them, I think. This doesn't take away the fact that like that stuff is still happening now, and I know that. And so reading it is just draining, and it takes a lot of energy for me to like get myself up into that. And so now that I have finally started reading, I need to start trying to draft chapter 2 of my dissertation to share with my committee. So that's my final writing goal. Now I'm just gonna have like a quick "you did that" segment. Sorry, my camera's rocking. You did that segment where I just talk about, or like congratulate myself on the things that I have done in the past like month or so. We're really like this summer months. First, you did that. I joined NaNoWriMo. Yay! I've been hearing people talk about it for Grit, but I never had joined it for myself. And so I joined NaNoWriMo, just like point 1 for Brit. So 2, I completed my writing goal for the July NaNoWriMo. I said I was going to write 5,000 words for Tales of Eliza Black, and I did. Small goals, because remember I was in a slump and I had just started my channel in July. So woo, like it was enough. I applied to the Avengers of Color. I'm really proud of myself for doing an application, even knowing that like, you might not get it. Like, I think that my book is bomb, and every time that I send it out, whether it's to a few agents, as I did before, I stopped because I was hearing people say that they had applied to or like submitted to agents and been told like, hey, I would if I could, but I can't because I'm a mom and I'm homeschooling my kids right now. And I was like, okay, well, let me pause and maybe go again at the end of the year or beginning of next year when maybe COVID has eased up and some agents are not having the responsibility of like full-time childcare. So I paused on that, but even when I was doing it, I was aware that like someone might say no to my book, and I'm like, but my book is so awesome, right? So I had sort of not had to deal with that giddy up and then like rejection dance for a Grit, but then I applied to Avengers of Color and they want to see your materials too, so that was the sort of risk, but I took it and I'm glad that I did, even not knowing the results yet. So for me, and then the last one is I made my first writing vlog. This is the finished product, and then you just stick it in the refrigerator for 24 hours or just put ice in it instead of 4 cups of cold water and you're good to go. You can also slice up another peach and garnish your cups with it, like stick a wedge on the cup and serve. So, but that's it. So thanks so much for tuning into my first Honest Tea writing vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there are many more to come with many successes to document. Until then, my literates, I will see you later. Bye-bye. 46. Everything is worth it. The times when you're tired, the times when you're a bit sad. In the end, it's all worth it. After Aaliyah. You're not Belle or Laz. Hope. I'm glad to see that, in spite of looks, the sense, at least, has not been beaten out of you. Hard first day as a punching bag. Try hard 3 days. Well, you seem to be very good at your job. I'm supposed to be learning hand-to-hand combat. Oh, then you need to write a strongly worded letter to that self-defense teacher at the Y. He failed you. Hope. I'm sorry. I don't need to tell you what you clearly already know. Hope. How am I talking to you? I was trying to get to Belle. Though she can't deny that it's good to see Laz's face, even if it isn't him she's talking to. I intercepted your call. Belle isn't attuned enough to hear it anyway. I, however, live in your neurotic boyfriend's psyche. I am. You can. Hey, teach me. Charlie can't. My teacher, well, she's been indisposed. I would love to, Eliza. Great, but I can't. We need to cut this short as it is. I am not the only one who could have intercepted this call, and though I don't know anything about the grave, I don't think you want your captors to know you found a window of escape, however fleeting. You'll need to make your signal a little more fugitive. How am I supposed to do that if you won't teach me? How am I supposed to do anything if I'm always risking everyone that tries to help me? You were right. I can't save anyone. Hope raises an eyebrow. Okay, my attention is split between you and driving, but that did seem like a cry for help, and, I might add, a misquote. I believe my more frazzled half said that you can't save everyone. Not that I was eavesdropping, because I don't do that. Eliza smiles weakly. Anyone, everyone, what's the difference? People and their lives, Hope answers solemnly. Eliza, do not forget all that you do know in your despair. It will lead you back to yourself. What do I know? That Laz has the same hero complex as you, for one, Hope says dryly. His is just laser focused on you most of the time. Yes, and I also know he's a realist, not a pessimist. He said I couldn't save everyone, and he's right. But why am I here then? Dear Eliza, it's quite strange seeing you in one eye and the road in the other. It's giving me a headache, and I think I'll have to take a left turn soon, so... Pounding on the door. You've got 5 minutes to lick your wounds and call it meditation, then it's back to the mats. Go. You've held this connection too long anyway, though I've done my best from this end to conceal it. But Eliza... Yes. You can't help anyone if you don't save yourself where you are first. How do you suggest I do that? Start by quitting that job as a punching bag. Reach your full potential every Tuesday with Britt Ryderly's Writer's Ambition. Then embrace adventure every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with Eliza Black. Don't leave us hanging. We'll see you soon.